So today I'm interviewing Brett Kreyer. He is a senior at Lafayette College. He also plays baseball there, and he has been awarded Most Valuable Pitcher for 2 years in a row. And he also just accepted a job offer working in cybersecurity. So I'm interviewing him today because I believe that he is very successful coming out of college, already having a full-time job and maintaining the rigorous course schedule that he has every semester since freshman year, while also playing baseball and being a pitcher. So, Brett, I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to you to be successful, and do you believe that you yourself are successful?
Sure. So, I think everyone has a little bit of a different definition for success. In my eyes, I see it as something you are trying to accomplish. So you become successful when you accomplish your goal or goals. So by that definition, I would say yes. My job, I'm very lucky to have it. And going into college, that's kind of what my goal was to prepare me for my future. So in that aspect, I have achieved that goal.
So for baseball, if we back it up, so you've been playing baseball for how many years now?
Probably 15, 16.
So would you say you always knew you wanted to play college baseball, or do you think it came about in high school when you started to have more success on the field?
I think it came about in high school. Growing up, I played other sports as well. Going to high school, I pretty much only played baseball. And, as I played it more, I started enjoying it more. And, I want to play it for as long as possible.
So for success for baseball, you are on a collegiate scholarship and you did have offers to play in college, other offers besides Lafayette. Would you say that people would view you as a success on the baseball field as well?
I guess some people would. Obviously, our ultimate goal is to win our league's championship. So if you define that as the goal we're trying to achieve, we haven't yet achieved it. So I guess that could be maybe still working towards that aspect of success.
Okay. I feel like you're very hard on yourself when it comes to defining success, and you being successful, because I believe you individually would be successful by your definition, because
Yeah.
you've reached a lot of the awards in high school. You were state champion, and you were awarded awards as well in high school. But do you think success is more than just an individual aspect? Do you think it's more of a group aspect?
I think it could be seen as both. Obviously there's individual awards, there's team awards. So, if you think of those being a mark of success, obviously getting the award or not is how I guess you would be defined as successful. It's more than just awards as well. Making friends and setting yourself up for the future is definitely an important aspect as well, in my opinion.
Okay, so kind of backtracking to your upbringing, would you say your parents played a pivotal role in your success growing up, and did they make you strive to be the best version of yourself and be the most successful version of yourself?
I mean, I definitely would say that. They always wanted me to do my best, be the best that I could be, and keep me on that track of success.
Okay, so one of your parents has a job kind of in the field that you're in, and the other one also has a job working with computers and programming. So would you say that they have influenced you heavily to be a computer science major? Because your younger sister, is a marine biologist,
Right.
or a marine biology major. So obviously that did not get passed down to her. But do you think that your parents, maybe not on purpose, but they definitely influenced you to be a computer science major?
I would say indirectly, they could have influenced me. Growing up, I was always interested by computers. I used them a lot, had fun with them, and going into high school, I took computer science classes kind of just to see what it was about, and that's when I really decided, that I wanted to do it.
Okay, so would you say that your course schedule for college for computer science definitely not as harder than the others because hard can be defined in a variety of ways. It's a relative term, but would you say that your class schedule is definitely rigorous, especially when it comes to attempting to balance baseball, a social life, and your major?
Yeah, I definitely would. College in general, I think, usually has a rigorous course schedule. Some majors are harder than others, and it depends on the person as well. But for me personally, I would say it's been a rigorous schedule for pretty much my whole college career, and that's one of, I guess, just the aspects of being a computer science major.
So obviously it can get really hard from what you're saying. Your days can get very busy and it can end up into long nights, hard weekends, all of that. So what would you say keeps you going throughout the week and throughout your college career?
Working towards getting my diploma definitely helps. Having that as an end goal. On a shorter term basis, I want to get good grades. I want to learn pretty much as I can while I'm here. Taking advantage of all the resources that are available. And so I think the best way to do that is, participating in class, getting good grades, doing the work that is asked of you.
So would you say you rely more on yourself for motivation than you do for others?
I would say that, yes.
Okay. So in essence, you keep yourself going on a daily basis. You don't rely on others to pick you up.
No, I think that, I do rely pretty much on myself to keep myself going. I think having the influence from other people will help as well, though.
Okay. So would you say you're happy with how your college career has gone thus far? And would you say you've been successful in your college career thus far?
Oh, yes, I would say that. There's always more that can be achieved, but in terms of, learning a lot, making a lot of friends, having a lot of life lessons, setting myself up for the future with my job and my degree, in that aspect, I would say yes.
Okay. Now in your major and in your field, your future field, there are definitely like a lack of women in this field. Would you agree with that?
In general, yes, that is pretty much a trend I've seen.
Okay, so why do you necessarily think that is? Um, do you think it's a societal thing or how would you view that?
Um, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm not saying that women aren't present at all. It is just seen that they're not as prevalent as men, especially in my experience in my computer science classes. But I don't know if it's really society or maybe they're just not interested in it, or I don't know. They think, oh, I'm a woman, I can't do that, because obviously that's not true either. I'm not really sure what causes that.
Okay. Because I personally find it interesting that I feel there's a lack of women in that industry, and you will also see a lack of men in other industries. So I was just wondering if you had any insight as to that, or if you've talked about it in classes or not.
It hasn't really come up in any of my classes. I'm more of like a math technical kind of major, so obviously sometimes you don't get that experience too. I guess other types of classes that are available in the school.
Okay. So going back to the success factor, and as you've mentioned that you view yourself as successful from the baseball aspect and computer science in your career and all of that, would you say there's other ways in someone to be successful? Like, do you think there's another way that you are successful besides baseball and your career?
I guess just in terms of life, obviously I'm only 21, so it's kind of hard to see if you've had a successful life or not. So it's a pretty broad scale, but in terms of where I am now, I'm happy with what I've accomplished, what I've set myself up for in the future. So just looking at those things, I would say, my life has been, I guess, a success so far. In terms of other aspects, I mean, making friends, just being a good person in general, helping society, things like that.
Okay. Would you say that being an influence to others is being a positive influence to others? Obviously, negative influences are not successful, but would you say being a positive influence to others and others looking up to you, being a role model, do you think that's a large part in younger people's success? Let me clarify my question more. So if you're a role model to, let's say, the freshmen or incoming players or going back to your little league team or something, you would be a success story to them. So would you say being a positive influence and helping shape them get ready for the next chapter of their life, as in high school ball or college ball, do you think that's also being a success to even your hometown?
Sure, I definitely would say as well. Kind of like I said before, giving back to society or giving back to the community. Being a good influence for others, making sure that they're, on the right path as well. I think that definitely helps be successful.
Okay. So as we also mentioned before, you're an older brother. Your sister also plays collegiate softball in at Coastal Carolina. Would you say growing up, she looked up to you, or was it a mutual thing? Did she look up to you? Did you look to her for advice, considering you guys are less than a year apart?
Yeah, I definitely say it was mutual. She looked to me for things, I looked to her for things, and kind of just went back and forth, I guess.
Because I would also consider her successful, and you in the
Yeah.
sense, you did grow up in a hard living situation, I guess, with your parents. Do you think that has any influence on the life you've set yourself up to have?
Well, I'm sorry. What's the question?
So your parents are separated, they're divorced. Do you think that had any influence on the type of life you wanted to have?
Um, Not necessarily. No. I always wanted to be successful and happy and everything. So I think that didn't really change anything.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to make my other question make sense. Um, so just in general, generally speaking, so for you, successful people are anyone who accomplishes a goal, correct? That's how you have viewed it,
Okay.
right? I'm
Right.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, we've talked a lot about your career and a lot about baseball and who you are as a person and what has shaped you. Um, who for you is the most successful person you know?
Um, I would say my parents probably. Both of them. Um, wanted to be computer science majors, wanted to get into that industry, and they're both doing pretty well right now. I would say so. I think that both of them are pretty successful.
So you would just say flat out, those are the two most, or those, they are the most successful person you know.
In my personal life, yes.
Okay, so what about your, um, any other aspect of your life? So do you have
Well,
any,
I guess like you see celebrities, some people think, oh, automatically they're successful. Whether it's the money or the fame, anything like that. In my, I guess, opinion, success is more than just that. So I guess it's hard to say, you know, outside of like the people I know personally, who I see as a success or not.
so do you think in order to be successful that you need to be educated?
Um, no, not necessarily. People have different goals in life. If education's not one of them for you, I mean, that's your decision. Or maybe you don't have that opportunity, and that's kind of just the way life goes, I guess.
Okay, so you don't view it as necessarily important to be educated, but you do believe that it helps. Is that the
Um,
understanding?
I mean, it depends on your goals. Like I said, if you want to be an engineer, obviously you'll probably need some sort of education. But if you're trying to go I don't know, do some charity work or something like that. I mean, you could probably be taught that in a lot less time. It's nothing that requires going to college for or anything like that. But those people are still doing good things as well.
Right. Okay. So I guess just one last question I have for you is, in us talking, do you think that success can be viewed in a variety of ways? Like you said, reaching an end goal, but do you think success can be as little as remembering a homework assignment, or um, going to the grocery store, making your bed? Like, do you think those things can be viewed as success as well?
I guess those are more like minor successes in terms of viewing someone or something as successful. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think all those things kind of combine together to some extent, I guess. And when you're, I guess, thinking is this person successful? It kind of depends on what they were trying to do, what their goals are, how they got there, things like that.
But how would you know a person's goals if they don't state them? I'm sorry, I just thought I need to add on to
Right.
it.
So I guess if you're looking at someone else, seeing what they've accomplished, seeing what they've done, are they a good person, like we were talking about earlier? Do they have good character, things like that? I think, all that kind of plays together to define a person that's as successful when you're looking, kind of from the outside in.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for talking with me today on what success
Thank
means
you.
to you and being successful. Um, and in closing, I guess we can say that Brett is a success when it comes to his major, his baseball career, and his future career.